you go. Another excursion into the rabbit hole. I mean, that is just what it's turned out to be, you know? And this is a cornerstone of what it is to be in the Q. It's a perpetual intellectual excursion. And now it's become very, hold on one second, guys. Trying to get a hold of Partha. All right. Partha, if you can hear this, so much technology going off right now. Yeah, Partha, if you can hear this, just join the Zoom meeting. I am waiting for you there. I see an acknowledgement, and so much going on. Hi guys, good morning from Spain, and yeah, this is going to be a constant rabbit hole. So this is going to be a watchword today, and it's part of the process. It is part of the Q. All right, let me make sure everything is working here. Let's see, meeting ID. Partha needs a confirmation on that. Yes, these things are exciting, my friends. This is a journey into technology every time. Partha is going to join us, and what he has to share with us, as always, is beyond incredible. And Partha, I'm pulling up that meeting ID right now. Sorry. Let's see. I have to sign into my account. And meetings. In my personal meeting room. All right. Oh God, yeah, it is invalid, Partha. All right, I got to rekey in the meeting room number. I transposed the 4 and the 7. You'll see. Partha 7954947121 7954. All right. There you go, Partha. Sorry about that. All right, guys. So Partha is going to be joining us here very, very shortly. And we are going to, everything that we're going to be doing right now and moving forward is really going to be based on the Q and Q map, because there's just too much synchronicity happening. It's there's Partha. There's just too much synchronicity. It's not it is not happenstance. All right, that we see these things and the associations that are made with this group, especially. Everybody in a way is very much invited or called, and those are there. Hey, Partha. Everybody that stays here understands that this is like a flower, like a lotus flower, to use an expression. We're blooming into all of this, and we can't do this alone. We can't do this alone as Americans or British, because the Q is definitely not an American quote unquote operation. There's just too much synchronicities with extremely old traditions and religions that very few people know what they are or even how to apply them. And then we have somebody like Partha who understands the old traditions, he looks at the Q map and he goes, "Oh yes, that makes an association right there. That's clearly clear. Yes, I see that." And so he has to show us what he sees, and so the Q map a lot of times is slowly revealing itself to us. So, without further ado, welcome, Partha.
Hey
Can you hear?
Charles,
Ah,
how are you
good.
doing today?
Very good. We're going to get some feedback loop here. All right. Yes. So everything's coming good on the systems. All right. Technically, we're okay today, Partha.
Yes, Charles. There was a power cut which now it came back. The power came back just 10 minutes back.
Oh, wow.
So even if power goes, I'll connect with mobile internet. So no worries.
Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, so it has been crazy week for me, 16 hours working because after attending seminar, my boss and team expects me to do other works also.
Yes.
So after 8 of seminar, I go back to work. So I have been peeping in and out of your sessions and checking out like what you guys are up to, what you are doing. And I saw like what very nice things that you have discussed in the Q map with angel and also meditation techniques and all that. So I would definitely catch up on that thread and I will expand on that those concepts,
Okay.
purification of the the mind, body, and soul, and how to escape the samsara wheel.
So the samsara wheel still applies, and that's something I'm familiar with because of my Buddhist studies. As you know,
Yes.
I'm a Jubu. Jew.
Mm.
Now actually, I'm a Jubu Hindu.
Jubu Hindu.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because within Judaism, I recognize that the God of the Jews, and that God of the Jews has led me on a great path. Buddhism does not ask me to worship a god, just to do a practice,
Mm. Yes.
and Hinduism doesn't ask me to worship a god either. There's a practice and there's a pantheon of gods that define a history, but they're not asking me um, to surrender to them. So
Yes. Yes.
I'm very comfortable.
Yes. That is one of the. Just give me a second.
Yeah.
Tell.
Uh, Doing some technical issues, guys. Here, just had to make sure that Partha's screen was good before he was able to come up. So good. He got him there, got me there, and pretty soon we're just going to transition to straight Partha because when Hijubu, yeah, I'm a Hijubu, a proud Hijubu. Thank you, Angel. That's beautiful. Thank you.
Yes, Charles, that was a telemarketing call trying to sell me another credit card or a loan. Anyways,
And
so
how did they offer you good rates? Hold on, wait before.
now sometimes I joke with them. I say that I need $1 million. Can you give me $1 million?
Oh man. And
And then they cut. Then they cut.
ah, one day, Apartha. One day. Don't give up.
Yes, so that is one of the greatest misunderstanding in India, at least, is that even Indians, you don't assume that India is all pious and people are all like they have big auras or anything like that. Let me tell you, many in India are still asleep. They actually go to temples and worship, and they believe that if they don't worship or submit themselves to gods, that things will not turn out right. But even they need to understand that all the pantheon of gods, they are nothing but our own frequencies. They are our lineage. It's our DNA. And today I'm going to talk about that in the samsara wheel.
Okay.
I'm going to make a lot of misconceptions right. I'll make people understand like how these gods are actually us only. They are within us. They are within our 72,000 nadis, which Angel was talking about. The same thing, the 72,000 nerves, which are all connected to our brain and inside our body. And then there is a bliss sheath, which is right in the center. So I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to talk about that. and also like that. So that ties neatly into Buddhism as well as Hinduism. So I'm merging both today.
Okay.
I'm going to show that. So let me share my screen. So first I will show the Q map. So we all know that this is the Q map, and Charles has been talking about this. So you hope you're able to see this, Charles.
I am. I need to make one adjustment so that everybody can see it and do well by it. All right, come on, stop doing that, machine. I'm going to make you the big screen, and now I am going to start recording this so that we can publish it after we finish. Sorry for the confusing look, guys. All right. That. Close that. Close that. Where is Partha? Here is Partha. No, Partha is over here. Gosh, dog it. There you are. All right. I think I've got it done. All right, Partha, go ahead.
Yes, Charles. So just one confirmation. So how much time do we have today?
As much.
I just wanted to know your time.
I have all day. I have nothing to do today.
Okay. Because see, when we start talking about Kala Chakra and how the matrix encodes us and how we are actually inside that cage, how to get out of that cage and all, it actually is lot of lecture. It's actually lots of stuff.
All right.
So
before you start, Partha, before you start, can you make me the host again to record this? I have to be the host. Sorry, guys.
Sure, I will.
We're moving.
I'll do that one.
All right.
I clicked on allow record. Are you able to do that?
Yep. All right. We are recording.
Yes. So as you can see in the great Q map, the great solar flash activity, spiritual light body ascension, and we also have this escape samsara in big bold at the right at the top. So we can see this.
Okay.
Now let me clarify to the viewers, it is not an automatic process, it's an automated process. So what does it mean? Automatic means people think, oh, I sit and I just wait for the flash and I get the flash and that's it, I ascend. Like Jesus Christ at the end of his life, with his 12 disciples, he goes to a mountain and the light comes, he ascends. It's not that simple. We have to prepare our body, mind, soul, do a lot of study, practice, and a lot of meditation before we even think that the light is going to take us to ascension. Because
and guys, I hate to interrupt, and I'm not going to do much of it, but I've asked people in this in this group to start practicing meditation, to start practicing the things that you are talking about. I've before I came on, I've done my affirmations, and so just watching Partha and I, and thinking, oh, these guys are kind of cool. If you're not taking the actions that Partha and Angel are talking about, then you're kind of wasting your time here, because we're interacting on something that is warning of great things, and the spirituality that you engage in makes the difference in what happens. Okay, so we're not just sitting here putting on a show. We're giving you direction, and these are points of action that you need to take. We feel. All right. Sorry, Partha. Go ahead.
Yes. One of the important things which I would definitely touch upon some other day, I would just like to say it's a controversial thing, but let me tell that there are two different earths. So there is this Midgard, or the real earth. It's actually quite huge, and it is where there are no wars. It's Garden of Eden. It's the real world. Okay, we are on the prototype earth. This is also called as the time machine or the samsara wheel. So we are actually inside a cage. We are not on the real earth.
Okay.
There has been a war going on since millennia between the Titans and between the gods, and it is gods who sometimes come into human form. There is a lot of proof of that. Like for example, in Hinduism, Hindu pantheon, it is said like Vishnu comes in the form of Ram, Krishna, or even Buddha. They say that Buddha is also one of the avatar. So as you have seen in the movie Avatar, there is a transfer of consciousness. So Jay is the paraplegic guy with his legs are, and then he transfers his consciousness or mind into the blue guy. So similarly, there is a transfer of consciousness. So sometimes the gods come into human form to teach or help people. And this world is not exactly the earth. This is a earth. It's a very vast topic. I will not talk about it much, but I can only say in simple words, that is the samsara. So we are actually in samsara. So when Tibetan Buddhism says you have to go to Shambhala, or when they say that you have to go to the 5D earth, they are actually talking about the earth, the real earth. So as you can see in the Q map, you have all these qualities: compassion, equanimity, Buddha mind, forgiveness, service to others, the rainbow body, ascended masters, ability to fly, levitation, telepathy. All this you can achieve only once you purify all the nadis. So this is like, you can say, this earth is more like the lower earth or the lower mind. It's more like a testing ground. It's more like a school. It's more like a time machine. And I will show you the time machine, how it works, how it actually, it's a wheel, and how we can overcome that. So this is coming straight from the Tibetan Buddhism.
Okay, just 1 second here. So we have Tibetan Buddhism in the queue. We have
Yes.
We have Hinduism.
Yes, samsara is Hinduism. Yes.
But on the other side, the yoga fire and the other
Yes.
things that we've been talking about. So
Yes, great solar flash. Yes.
and then the prophecy in every historical religion. So
Yes.
a basic American, a basic PSYOPs, a CIA officer, someone that's in NSA. This is not stuff they would put together. And also the solar,
Yes.
the sun being electrical, the electric sun theory, which is kind of over a little bit more on our queue. This is not anything that anybody in the government, electric sun, they can't even begin to wrap their heads around this stuff,
True.
people.
True.
So what Partha just rattled off, which blew me away, it's so easy for him. I couldn't repeat and sincerely, much less document what he just said. And the way all of this stuff presents and documents, Partha can see it's somebody that knows these subjects well and is presenting them in a proper form. All right, this is heavy,
Yes.
guys. This is very heavy.
Yes, this is very heavy. So it will start making sense only when you read and study about the ancient wars between gods and titans. So that is when these things start making sense. So when you say, like for example, on the left side you see ancient artificial intelligence, you see the reptilians. They are not reptilians, they are actually the ancient titans. So reptilians are also involved, but it is a long standing war. In fact, you remember, Charles, in my first session itself, I talked about the war for nectar of immortality.
Mm-hmm.
It was a great exercise activity between the gods and the titans. So they were actually churning the ocean to get the nectar. So the feud started that time, and Rahu's head was cut off. So this testing ground, actually, you can say there's a truce. It's a kind of a truce between gods and titans or the giants to for any other souls to come here, learn their lessons. It's a safe ground. It's a safe place to learn things, study things, and then you can escape. But if you don't do that testing, or you don't do what is that called inner work or purification, you will be recycled into this earth. Okay, so that is why all these things will start making sense when you understand the deeper agenda. Okay, ancient Death Star, the Draco and Reptilian Dark Fleet, all this will start making sense only when you understand the original story. So that is one of the Buddha techniques which I will talk about when I'm talking about the Kala Chakra. And then we have this mental and spiritual states, which I think you and Angel were talking about. So I will go to the now I'll go to the samsara wheel. So let me show the samsara wheel.
And guys, I'm sorry to be quiet right now, but I'm just processing everything that Partha says. You know, if you're coming, if you remember your Christian tradition, which is based on your Jewish tradition, there was a war between the gods in Egypt, and that's how the nation of Israel was able to escape Egypt, because the God of the Jews defeated or overcame the god of the gods of Pharaoh. So, this whole concept of the gods battling, it's based in your Christian tradition. It's based in the Jewish tradition. So, the the gods warring is in every ancient religious tradition, and there is a synchronicity between all the stories. They're told a little bit differently, but if you look at the kernel of the story, they're all basically the same. All right, Partha.
Yes, Charles. So this is going to be little heavy duty stuff. So people can replay this later also again and again just to understand. So I will not go very slow. I will be slightly medium pace. So this is called the samsara wheel or the kala chakra or the time wheel. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the outermost layer is the body. Then the second layer is the prana or the breathing. So this is where the breathing meditation all happens. Then you reach the cosmic mind, and then you reach the bliss sheath or the innermost sanctum sanctorium. So in fact, most of the ancient temples, whether it is in Egypt or whether it is in other traditions, they all follow the same thing. This is also called as the mandala in Tibetan Buddhism. So a mandala is it's like an expanded mind. So it all starts in the center, and then using the golden mean ratio. So golden mean ratio, which is also found in most of the natural things. For example, if you cut open an apple, or you cut open any like onion peeling, you will see that golden mean ratio. So I will show that little later.
Yes.
So this is the body. So the cleaning or the purification, to put it in a nutshell, it starts with the body, then the breathing, then the mind, and then you reach the inner sanctum sanctorium, where you are actually with the will of the creator. So here there is a small write-up which I can read it out. Human beings are made up of three external things: body, prana, and mind. This can be seen in Kala Chakra as the external layer, the middle level, and the internal level. The outer layer is often, so I'll make it slightly bigger. The outer body layer is often referred to as exalted body mandala. The middle pranic level is called the exalted speech mandala. The inner manas level is the exalted mind mandala. So the word Mandela effect comes from this only. So many people don't believe in Mandela effect, but let me tell you, it exists, because what happens is constantly this game is being rearranged. So that is why, when you go back into time and you see, oh, Luke is your father, I am your father, or in that Forrest Gump movie, Tom Hanks says life was a box of chocolates, but some people remember it as life is a box of chocolates. That is because the mandala is constantly being rearranged by the giants, because this earth where we are is actually controlled by the giants.
Okay.
The innermost section of the Kala Chakra is called the fortress of Durga. It can be divided in three main sections. So there is a mandala of exalted wisdom and 16 squares of mandala of pristine consciousness. The innermost center is the mandala of great bliss. In this center mandala, there is a green 8-petaled lotus, which is the seat of Durga as the universal soul or Vishwamata. And then she has 4 faces and 8 hands. So whenever you see any of these ancient gods with multiple faces or multiple hands, it means they're everywhere. They have a lot of superpowers. So it's not like literally they have 8 hands or 4 faces. It's like, the whole brain theory, where your brain is divided into 4 parts. So there is the logical part, which is on the, the left brain. Then there is the accountant brain. Then there is a spatial brain, which is the right brain, and also the creative brain. And then we also hear stories like, Einstein having a big frontal lobe because he can. So all this actually comes from this concept only. So there are 8 guardian angels for this Kala Chakra. So Indra is like the king, like Trump, for example, is an Indra. Then you have Agni. So all the cooks, chefs, artists, they all come in this Agni. Yama is all the judges, all the people who are like judging in courts. They work in the courts and all that.
Okay.
Nirut, all the scientists. So anybody who is like trying to invent something or trying to do some groundbreaking thing like Charles, they are all in this southwest direction. Then Varuna is the western direction, the guardian of the western direction. So Varuna is also like bit like judge, but it is also into creativity and stuff like that. Then Vayu is the communication. So all the sales people, all the people who actually are into a lot of communication, travel, flying and all, that is Vayu. Kubera is the god of wealth. So all the banks, treasuries and all is Kubera. And then Ishana is the people who are into religion, religious practices and all that. But this 8-spoked wheel is basically, it's also, I won't use the word trap, but as I said, it is like the samsara wheel. So when you take birth in this earth, in this matrix, so you have to go through these cycles. So when you go through these cycles over a period of time, so your soul is refined and you get new learnings. So you sometimes you are incarnated as a judge, or you sometimes you're incarnated as an artist or a chef, sometimes you're incarnated as a politician. So only when when you keep repeating the lessons, then you start coming inside. And when you start coming inside after a period of lifetimes, then you start coming even more inside. So even those people who don't believe in lifetimes or in incarnations, you can say that it is your own ancestor that you are you, meaning that your great grandfather is you only, because the great grandfather's genes or the DNA is inside you. So those people who
Sure.
don't believe reincarnation concept, it still applies to you, simply because you carry the DNA or the lineage. So it doesn't matter if I say it is reincarnation, because it's your own DNA which is getting purified again and again. So this is the same diagram which I was talking about. Now this is the interesting part. So there are 15 phases of the moon plus the new moon, so totally 16 phases. So each direction again is ruled by different phases of the moon. So the first, the Pratipada, is means the first day after the new moon or the first day after the full moon. Navami means 9th day after the full moon or the new moon. So 1 and 9 is that. Then Aries and Taurus are the signs associated with it. Then the animal is the eagle, and then the yoni is a flag. And this is the Indra, or the ruler archetype. So one thing that viewers need to understand is that all the archetypes, all the gods are within you. So unless you release the bondage with those archetypes, with those gods, you will not escape the samsara wheel. Meaning that if you are tied to these archetypes, like for example, many people say, oh, I am a Piscean, oh, I am this, oh, I am that, you know what, I am a writer, so I think only like this. So that is actually kind of a mental conditioning. So what the Tibetan Kala Chakra is telling you is that these conditioning happen over a period of time or maybe eons or ages, and because of which, whenever there is a great solar flash or something, you actually don't escape. What actually happens is you are recycled or relooped into the same matrix. But you do inner work and you overcome all the archetypes. So I will definitely teach about that Buddhist technique, which is which is a very ancient technique, which can help people to overcome these archetypes. So some people say, I'm, I love eagle, I'm Garuda. Some people say, no, I'm, I'm Aries. Some people say, I love cats. Like I've seen your chat, Charles, like many people talk about the cat memes and all. So this fascination for a animal or a bird, it actually comes from a very, very deep layer of subconscious mind, which is embedded in the wheel of time.
Okay.
So because of which the associations happen at a subconscious level, and that is why the body in the subconscious layer, it becomes very hard. So before I slightly proceed with this, I want to show something very important. So I'll just go to Google. Uh, Before I forget, I will just go to Google. Meanwhile, you can just talk,
All
Charles.
right. Um, uh, yes, I'm very glad that we're making a separate recording of this because the information that Partha presents, it just is so synchronous with so many of the way humanity renders, and especially the way this reality and this earth has been constructed um, and has changed over time. Evolution is not present in genetics. Evolution is not present in the archaeological record, and evolution is not present in the geological record. What we see is vast and sweeping changes time after time. So, what Partha is presenting here, at least to me, makes great sense. I mean, great sense in the way that I have studied the Earth, geology, archaeology, genetics, and paleontology. That you know, the saying goes that dinosaurs are millions of years old, and well, the Earth accumulates dust and spatial dust debris. We say a foot about every 100 years. The Earth is covered in new dust every 100 years, just from our skin, animal skin, fur, and everything. So if you go by that metric, then the dinosaurs should be buried about mile to a mile and a half deep. They shouldn't be at the surface levels where we find them. And everybody's like, "Oh, you don't understand erosion." I understand erosion. You just don't. You're not seeing how these dinosaur bones are laid out. So, what you say makes clear, perfect sense with what we see in the geological and archaeological record.
Yes. When I'm talking about Kala Chakra, I want the viewers to understand that Kala Chakra is both a Tibetan Buddhism concept as well as an Indian concept. So that is why I wanted to show a bit of the Indian part, which will help you to purify the each layer of your body. So as you can see, this is your body. Using Kirlian photography, you can see something called as aura, and then you can understand there are basically 5 sheets or the 5 elements of your aura. So the physical body that people can see is called the Annamaya Kosha or the food sheath, then Prana Kosha or the energy sheath, then Manomaya, which is the mind sheath, then the intelligence or the discernment sheath, and the bliss sheath. And this description is there, so you can simply type in you can simply type in 5 sheets of consciousness in Google, and you'll get this information. So I'll go back to the PowerPoint. So the same thing is there even in Kala Chakra. So as I was saying, so the body sheath, then the prana or the breath sheath, and then the mind sheath. Then you have the fortress of Durga, and then there is the central point which is not shown here, but in there it is shown in some other diagram. Is that the innermost sanctum sanctorum, so which is the fifth innermost layer. So here, yes, in this diagram you can see the fifth most innermost layer is called the bliss sheath, where you feel one with the creator. So in Hindu tradition or in the Buddhist tradition, there is no such concept as creator being outside of you. Meaning that when you actually purify all your nadis through meditation and over a lot of spiritual practices, there would come a time when you would feel that you and creator are one and the same thing. Yes, it takes time to even think about it, wrap your head around such a concept, but that is the goal of all the Hindu or the Indian tradition, is to become one with the creator.
Well,
So no,
I can speak to that as a Westerner.
yes.
The things that I've experienced, especially on this channel, um, is only the third eye, and um, just some of the things that I've achieved intellectually only happens through a lot of work and a lot of practice. You just don't figure out how to do an IP address in 5 minutes, and how to break down a subnet. Partha, take study. You don't know how to do knitting. Anything that produces something takes a time of study. If you're worried about your soul, if you're worried about the great solar flash, then you have to study the things that are associated by the people that are talking about this. So yeah, I mean, you keep making the fundamental point. We must do the work. All right, go ahead. Sorry to interrupt.
Yes, Charles. So as I was saying, so this again, this corresponds to the 28 constellations. So I keep talking about the constellations. So constellations are nothing but your own inner body. So as above, so below, as outside, as within. So
Wow.
whatever constellations you see outside in the space, they are inside of you also. So when you do the inner work related to each constellation, then that constellation becomes purified, and the karma associated with it, it gets released.
Okay.
So affirmations like I burn my astrological karma, or I release all the gods and archetypes in all timelines and in all dimensions. But you have to do it from the heart. You can't simply blabber it. You have to do it from the heart. So that actually purifies all the 28 constellations, which is actually inside of your brain only. So that is why in the ancient scriptures it is mentioned that the creator Brahma, he came out of Vishnu's or Narayana's navel. So from the navel sprouted the lotus, and from the lotus, in the lotus you had Brahma. Brahma again created four young children kind of people. And these people are like they are in Buddhism also. For example, Sanat Kumara, and is also there in Buddhism. He's also called as Maitreya. So he is one of the Kumaras, or one of the young child. So if you see the same wheel, you have the four parts. If you see, so this is one square, this is one square, this is one square, these are nothing but the four young disciples, or four young creators who came out of mind of Brahma. It's actually quite heavy duty, I know.
It
But
is. And it's thousands upon thousands of years old. You know, we look at our ancestors. The quote unquote Stone Age, that we were walking around in loincloths and sheepskin, and you look at the depth of study and the correlation with so many different things, that keeps making the point, as above, so below. And you know, and this is coming from such ancient traditions, Partha, that it, to a modern person, to a modern Western person, it's hard to make sense. And I was making the point yesterday, that Indian, Buddhist, and Indian ancient traditions talk about timelines, talk about different realities, talk about different worlds. They talk about so much stuff presented in science fiction that science fiction can't even wrap their head around it. But the Vedas speak to it like it's, walking around the house. There's no great effort in their writings. There's no, they're not trying to convince you of anything. They're just writing what they see. And we just do not allow ourselves to go that deep in studying your ancient traditions, because if you know your past, you know your future. All right, Partha, go ahead.
Yes, so the four Kumaras are the first creations of the creator God. They said they don't want to participate in any creation. They said that. And then, what happened was Brahma was very upset. And from his mind, see, it is called as mind born sons, or the brainchild. So the word brainchild, actually root is here, you know, it comes from the Brahma.
Hmm.
And similar Brahma is also there in, Abrahamic religions. So it is Abraham, Brahma, they are all kind of similar. Yeah. So these are the four eternal youth children. So I will show you a small animation which is done by another YouTube channel. So I'll just show you that animation, which is quite important for our discussion. So let me play that.
Okay.
So this is the nether world, or the bottommost part. So it is bit like the nine realms of the Norse mythology, but slightly different. So the four children are learning their eternal youth, and they are always learning. They are the bottommost portion of the earth. Then this is the Midgard. So we are not in the Midgard. So as I clarified, we are not here, because this has a golden mountain. It's called the Mount Meru. It is 100,000 miles. 100,000 miles. So that actually you can't see such mountains here, right? In this earth. So we are actually somewhere in one of the lower realms, another earth, or you can call as matrix earth. So these are the 8 directions of the Kala Chakra. As you can see, these are the 8 directions of the Kala Chakra, as above so below. So whatever are there here in this model of the earth, the 8 directions, the same are actually repeated for us also, because the universal creator or the universal design never changes.
No.
See, even if we are a different earth, a matrix earth, still the same philosophies apply, meaning that there is a 8 directional petal lotus, or the 8 spokes of the wheel, samsara wheel, but there it is not samsara. I mean, in the real earth is not as samsara. Real earth is like Garden of Eden. So we were expelled from that garden. So this central portion just now I showed you, right? So this is the original Garden of Eden. So we were expelled from this. So this is 5D earth, or the 5th dimensional earth. We are in 3D earth, which is much below or in some other place. So when you see it from the top view, as you can see, so these are all the real sun, stars, the real ones. So we are in kind of a simulation. That's why the mainstream scientists like this what's his name, Neil
DeGrasse.
Tyson,
Yeah.
The grasshopper.
Yes. Neil deGrasse
And
Tyson.
all this, all the mainstream scientists, they keep talking about simulation and all. Why they call it simulation is, the reason is that we are it's not exactly computer simulation as people say. It's not that is where people make a mistake. We are not in a computer simulation. What we are is actually a simulation of the real earth. The real earth is quite beautiful. Is it's not defiled. It doesn't have any nonsense, no garbage, no pollution, no need to eat to survive. And there is, in the center, there are living waters from where you can drink. It's also there in Norse mythology. It's called the Oot well. There are 2 wells, in fact. There are 2 wells as per Norse mythology. We are in the bottommost realm, so that is why our well is poisoned. So our wells or our waters are polluted or poisoned, whereas the real earth has living waters, which is also shown in many movies like Mad Max, for example. Those who are movie junkies, they can watch the ending of Mad Max. It is full of revelation. It's actually the Jesus philosophy which is shown. And there, the heroine, what's her name? So South African lady. She's a famous lady. She has won Oscar also. So she is the one. And there's a UK guy who is the hero of that movie, Matt Hardy.
Yes, and to make the point about the living waters, every single religion there is talks about living waters. Christianity, Judaism, and now we have the expert from the Hindu Buddhist mythology that talks about it. And there's representations in Sumerian, Babylonian, and Mayan and Indian depictions of a god holding a bucket, and that bucket has living water in it, and that's how the human and he gives it to the humans, and it extends their lives. And so every single major ancient religion has the living water and a depiction of a god, except for Judaism, a god holding a bucket.
Yes, Charles. So this is how the wheel works. So as above, so below. So whatever is working above, it's also working for us. So the great pole star. So now the pole star would come. So the pole star is, much, above, and we can't even measure the distance. So it's quite far away. So this is the pole star.
Okay,
So from the
one more question,
yes.
because this keeps coming up. Well, in my mind, keeps coming up. Can what you're calling the Earth, the real Earth, can that be what many people call Nibiru?
No, no, no,
Okay,
no. NIM is actually a code word, Charles.
okay.
So
Clarify that.
it's
Rectify
like,
that.
yeah, Nibur is like, you can say it is a code word for the solar flash.
Okay.
There is no such planet. What actually is happening is the great solar flash is coming, right?
Right.
So to cover up for that, you say that, oh, it's going to be a planet which is going to come 3600 year cycle and all that. So a lot of euphemisms and a lot of things actually are said to cover up for the fact, like for example, we were talking about comets last week, but now we are talking about the sun, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So with the focus has to be always on the sun.
Good.
It is the sun which does things. It is not other things. Other things are like more symbolic. It is the sun which will emit the charged particles. It is the sun which will cause the EMP or the fire or whatever. And that sun also, it will receive the energy from the pole star or the black star. So from the black sun or the pole star, the energy will pass through like this, and then it will seep into all the realms. So that is why, you remember, Charles, so few days back I was showing you that, how the solar flash actually goes into all the realms.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the same thing. So the fire actually comes not from the sun, it actually comes from this pole star, from the central point, and from there it passes through all the 9 realms. So that is why all the people from all the realms, whether it is gods or whether it is the reptilians or whether it is the giants, everybody gets affected. And that is no wonder you had this movie called, Thor the Dark World few years back. Then you had this Ragnarok movie where they were saying, everything is affected. But just one correction,
Hmm?
when that fire comes, the other realms, especially the Midgard and Asgard, they don't get affected because they're anyways pure.
Mm-hmm.
It is only lower realms or our Earth which actually gets affected because there is too much pollution and there is too much of defilement and all that. And that is the samsara. So these are all not samsara or anything. So that was Brahma. For a second, I was just showing. Yeah. So from the navel, he comes out. That is the Brahma. So I'll stop this animation. So these are the 4 Kumaras who were actually not interested in the creation. They were into teaching and all that. And one of the names is Sanat Kumara. He's also quite famous in the Buddhist tradition. In fact, many people called Sanat Kumara as, Sanat Kumara is as Maitreya also. So he's the incarnation of Maitreya and all that. So that is the Buddhist part. So coming to the Kala Chakra, coming back to the Kala Chakra. So the 4 quadrants represent the 4 Kumaras, and then of course you have to come inside this. So one technique quickly which I can share is, which I have also told in my channel is, apart from the regular meditation, pranayama to clean the various things, you can also read these ancient lores or the ancient stories of gods and angels and demons and all this. And you have to visualize with one character. Meaning, when you're reading, say, a story of Zeus and Hera and all that, so you have to identify yourself with either Zeus or Hera or maybe Pegasus or anything like that. So when you identify yourself with that particular character, but from the heart, so you have to imagine as if you are that person, you are in the shoes of that person. So say when I'm reading this story of some story where Krishna is doing something, or Zeus is doing something, and maybe he broke some rules or something, okay, or the Rahu story which I was telling you the other day. So you have to identify yourself with Rahu. You have to feel his pain. So when you feel his pain, that karma is released from you. So that is the Buddhist technique. So Buddhist technique is very simple. You read the stories and you identify with a specific character or the archetype, feel his pain, feel the problems they faced or feel the good parts they faced, and finally at the end you say that I release all the karmas associated with this legend, this story, this archetype from my, my five bodies.
And that's one of
Because
my
you have,
that's one of my affirmations.
yes. So that is where the affirmations come in. So when you do those affirmations, what happens slowly, brick by brick, you actually disassociate yourself with all the archetypes, all the gods. Because let me tell you, this Kala Chakra is very deep. It is 70,000 gods which are there inside of you. You have the DNA or the lineage of 70,000 gods. Meaning, see, the word God is like, some people don't like. So I can say that 70,000 light bulbs,
No,
or 70
you're
channels.
safe. You're safe in using your language here. You don't have to clean up your language, Partha. You
Yes. So
you speak your
when you say
truths.
God, in Hinduism, God is not like, a guy who judges or anything like that. So in Hinduism or in Indian tradition, God is a light body. So the light body within you is only God. So God is not something outside of you, somewhere sitting in a seat of judgment. We don't see gods like that. Gods are within you, within your frequency, within your energy bodies. So they are actually acting at a very, very subtle level. In fact, a lot of Westerners like Arthur Powell, Madame Blavatsky, and Helena Blavatsky, all these people came to India. They met the Himalayan masters. They understood these things, and then they discovered about the ancient Atlantean, Lemurian, these sunken continents,
Hmm.
and Pangea. They discovered about those, and they said talked about the root races. So you have the root race called Polarians, then you have Hyperboreans, then you have something called as Aryans, Atlanteans. So these various root races emanate from the central point, because the game keeps repeating. Even if this earth is kind of destroyed by the Yuga fire, it is renewed.
Hmm.
It's not forever. It is actually renewed, and then new souls come here and play the game again. So it is like a playground, you can say. And those souls who have not learned their lessons or not gone through the process, they also have to come back. And that is why it's called the samsara wheel. So the process is very simple. You do your meditation, you do your practices and all that, but apart from that, a very good technique is read up about the ancient lores and the stories associated with specific characters like Indra. There are hundreds of stories about Indra or Thor. That is why Thor is quite famous, or Zeus. Or you read about Kubera. Kubera is nothing but the Santa Claus. He is the guy who gives the gifts.
Hmm.
Kubera is also brother of Titan King called Ravana, or the 10-headed Titan King. And then Yama is nothing but, as I was showing you the other day, Charles, he is the guardian of the south direction. So right now we are in the south. That is why, Charles, you were one of the first guys to observe that sun is moving towards north. Why north? Now you understood. Because we are going towards the north. So apart from these 8 directions, there are 2 directions which are not mentioned here. Let me mention those. One is Brahma and one is Ananta. So Brahma means going downwards. So it's not a 2D thing. It's actually a 3D thing. And Brahma is from looking from above, he's looking down. So any soul who is coming into this playground, he's coming from Brahma. And then any soul who wants exit from the matrix, who wants liberation or salvation or the Yuga fire, he is going out, and that is actually coming out of the central point.
So hold on. Liberation from this cycle is the yoga fire.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
guys, I,
As I
I, I
said,
cannot
you
make that.
cannot.
That is huge. That I mean that pulls together all the upper portion of the Great Awakening map. I mean you have to have somebody with Partha's level of understanding of all of these traditions to have put that on that Great Awakening map. I cannot I cannot stress to you enough that that map is not a casual compilation from a few people thinking neat thoughts. All of this is just so connected. It has to have been a person or a group of people that already understand the connections, and those connections are well established. And it takes a hell of a long time to study this to make these connections. It takes a lifetime of study, and then to apply it with all the Western traditions that are in the Q map. and all of the world politics, it's just not something you can do simply. I'm sorry. There's much more to this queue. That's why it's a rabbit hole, and it's an intellectually satisfying rabbit hole for someone like Partha, for somebody like me, because as you see the connections, you see the connections. And what they tell you on mainstream media doesn't meet up with what you actually see with your own eyes and have with your own experience. All right, Partha. Again, I just have to reiterate how important you are to all of this.
Yes, yes, Charles, I understand.
And just kind of say one more thing. You're bringing all of the words on the Great Awakening map to life. I hope people from the queue watch this, and I hope they pass it around to their friends in the queue because this
Yeah, actually,
this
the
this
it is a
brings those words.
collaborative effort. Yeah, they have put all these things, but actually they don't know
They don't.
the
It's
science.
meaningless to anybody in the queue. It's
Yeah.
absolutely meaningless, and you are bringing it to life. This is
Yes.
amazing, Partha. What a triangle.
Yes, Charles. So it is, it's a lot time consuming, and as in Shaolin temples, so the discipline has to be there. In Kill Bill movies and all, this lady goes there, she gets trained, and then she gets beatings also. So it's a very very difficult tradition.
Yeah.
I mean, it does look rosy from outside. I mean, to get this kind of output, you just imagine the amount of hard work or penance people had to do.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it doesn't come easy. Yeah. So one of the things that we need to focus right now in the current wheel of time or samsara is this direction. So this is our great guy Rahu. So this is the symbol of Rahu. So if you remember, Charles, I was showing you the symbols of the various zodiac signs like Cancer or Leo and all.
Mm-hmm.
So these are symbols of the various grahas. So we don't call planets as planets. We call them graha. Graha means to seize, to capture the imagination of somebody's mind. So for example, the guardian angel of east is sun. So this is a symbol of sun, esoteric symbol. This is Mars. This is actually Jupiter. This is Mercury. This is Venus. This is Saturn. This is moon, and this is Rahu. So the northeast direction, where Charles, you saw that the sun was shifting.
Mm-hmm.
This northeast direction.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and see the symbol. The animal is hare. From the word hare, you have so many associations. For example, many people say they see rabbit or hare on the moon. They say that Cain, he went to the heaven and he was pulling twigs and all. Then a goddess came and the goddess said that, what are you doing? So he said, for me, Sunday and Monday are one and the same. Sunday and Monday are one and the same. So I will show that screen also. So this is where right now we are in the wheel of time. So it's almost completion. So we started at east, right?
Mm-hmm.
So east, and you went to southeast, and we went to south, we went to west. So we have completed the samsara wheel. Right now we are in this point because Rahu recently on May 21st, he entered this portion. He entered into the sidereal Gemini and especially the hair part. So I will show you that. So let me stop.
And hold on, before you leave here, what you're saying in a scientific sense is the wheel of precession has completed. And so the wheel of
Yes,
precession
exactly.
is also
Yeah.
the samsara wheel.
Yes, and the samsara wheel actually, if you see, it starts with the sun and then ends with Rahu, and then there is the dawn again.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Rahu is like the darkest before the dawn, or maybe lightest before dawn, in any which ways you want to put it.
Yeah.
So it starts with the sun and ends with the sun.
And understand that the people that had to put this together had to understand what precession was. And pre-flood, there is and when I say pre-flood, is pre-global flood, pre-12,000 years ago, 40, 50,000 years ago, there is a lot of historical traditions in the Egyptian writings, in the Jewish writings, and maybe Partha. I don't know what Indian writings say, but people lived for thousands of years before the flood. It says so in Jewish writings, and so
Yes,
pe-
exactly. We have this conception that whenever you drink from the the living waters,
yes,
you without thirst or hunger for 11,000 years.
and so people have actually experienced precession. Modern humans only know about precession from the ancient texts. And precession is when we go through the entire catalog of star signs, um, and it's 25,000 years. We go through each zodiac sign. We go from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius. That age is 25,000 years roughly. So understand that the people that wrote this thousands of years ago understood the concept of precession. You can't understand the concept of precession if you only live 60 to 70 years. You can't transfer this idea um, on generations. You have to see, experience it, document it, and then give it to people as religious text. Make it sacred so that they can keep passing it on after generations, and generations being roughly 50 years. Um, so, wow, okay. And again, now I understand the people that understand this wheel, that come from a Western tradition, get blown away because you can't be a regular human and write this, Partha. There's no way.
Yes. Yes, Charles. So I would request the viewers to focus their mind on this direction. Rahu, it is the Mitra. Right now, many of the presidents and prime ministers around the world, they are having this alignment. So, for example, Indian Prime Minister, he is also having Mitra. Mitra means again Chris Mitra or Christmas. It's just the before pre-dawn. Then you have Trump, who is also similarly Scorpionic energy. Then you have the Imran Khan, who's the prime minister of Pakistan. Even he has this. So
Hmm.
many
Hmm.
people right now, world leaders, they are also on the stage with this energy right now. So I will show you that. So let me go back to internet and let me show you few important things. So the keywords are hare and crow. So I will just show you that. So let me go to the crow first. So as you can see, the crow is near the hydra and it is the thirsty crow.
God, how do you know all this stuff, Partha? Jesus.
So I always connect to the Western legends because I want even Westerners to be to have salvation.
Thank you.
Yes, so it is not just a Indian thing. So it's not like I have the knowledge, I keep quiet, I just don't I keep quiet. So it's not like that. So I connect this to the Celtic gods and to the Western tradition so that people appreciate that what I'm saying is not just Hinduism or Buddhism. So, for example, just now I showed you the crow in the Samsara wheel. See, the raven brought the cup and represents the holy grail to Apollo. Boron also says it was the rich fisher named Boron who was the brother-in-law of Joseph, and that it was he who brought the grail to Britain. So Hebrew korban means a gift or votive offering for the god. So we are in that point.
Hmm.
The great cycle, Arthurian legends are coming back. That is why in the last 10, 15 years, so many movies have come talking about Egyptian gods, which are talking about the Celtic gods, which are talking about the Game of Thrones. Why they
Sure.
are coming into the consciousness because of this. So this is the Corvus constellation, the thirsty crow who wants his nectar, and crater. And I have moon in this in just above this crater constellation. Crater means the Holy Grail cup. And then the other constellation was here. So I will show you the Christian connection there. Lepus, here, constellation of words. So you saw the hair in the samsara wheel. So now pay attention to this. So this is that hair. And it is directly connected to Cain. The constellation of Lepus was also seen as Cain driven from the face of Earth to the face of the moon. What is Cain, as David Icke says? So many people in UK they follow David Icke. Cain is coin, meaning money. A
Hmm.
medieval to say that end Cain arrived at the moon where he eternally settled with a bundle of twigs. An example of this belief can be found in Dante's Inferno. So we are in the Inferno. That is the real global warming. We are in the Inferno. We are not on the real Earth. We are in the Inferno. That is why the temperatures are shooting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a closed system, a closed loop feedback. Cain and the twigs is used as synonym for the moon. A man traveling on Sunday with a bundle on his back was met by a fairy who asked him why he worked on the Sabbath. He replied, Sunday on earth or Monday in heaven, it's all one to me. Then carry your bundle forever. And that is what the souls are doing. So Cain's blood is also there here. Abel's blood is there. Abraham's blood is there. Jesus' blood is there. So all these bloodlines are affecting us at energetic level, at mental level, psycho level, physical level. That is why we need to do affirmations, meditations to release these things. Otherwise you will be perpetual Monday, you will be coming back to the moon. That is why, in Indian tradition we say that the people, they do never escape samsara. They go to the moon, then they come back here. They go to the moon and they come back here. That is why you see the first working day is Monday. Then you keep on working. You don't,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes people, they don't even take break on Sabbath. We work again.
Yeah.
And then Monday we start our work day.
Yeah.
So Monday. So this is the thing. So the hair is related to that. So a lot of things like, even in the Q map, you have this Harvey Weinstein. Harvey Weinstein, what he was doing, he had a big part in the Me Too movement, right?
He was the Me
He
Too
was
movement.
he was the Me Too movement. So that is there in the Q map. Who is Harvey? Harvey
Is a
Hair,
rabbit.
rabbit, the lustful one. I'll show you.
Fun.
Lust. Can you believe that? See. So languid, languish, lush. So these are the words. Lustful, pain, masochism, sexual gratification, etc., etc., etc. That is why we had the Me Too movement in the last 2 years. Those things came out of the subconscious mind because I was showing you that direction, right? The northeast direction is having the hare, it is having the crow, and that's why these themes, these words are coming out in the open.
Interesting.
So how I see the world samsara is that as within, so without. So it doesn't mean, of course, every murder or every crime committed is within me. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, like, whatever you see, you can decode it if you know the astrological part or if you know these things. And see, this is one thing which you have been saying, Charles. See, haze, the word haze.
Yes. I'm looking at one
You
right
have been
now.
saying that in almost every video of yours. You are saying that I see the haze, I see the haze. Haze and hazy are believed to be cognates, which are the meaning of obscured or made foggy. And fog, obscurity, ultraviolet, northeast, all are Rahu.
Please understand, I have been where I live right now, and I'm going to switch the camera for the people to see. We are in literally a perpetual fog. You can't see the sea. The people that are viewing online, it's been foggy for 2 days, and it's a very strange fog, a very very strange fog. One that 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 is coming from the north. We usually have our fogs come in from the west here in Mushia. I've been here for a year and a half now, and I've watched fogs come and go. I've never seen a fog come in from the north, and speaks to what Partha is saying of Rahu, and the fog coming in from the north.
This is a brand in India. It's a perfume brand. It has been there since last few years. In fact, there is a famous saying which the ad makers, they made it popular. What is happening now? And the other guy in the advertisement, they say it is fog.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
That's what I'm saying. How I see the world is a reflection of what is happening in the samsara wheel. So the keywords The key phrases, the catchphrases, the terms, the planet, the energies, everything they come out in the open. So that is why you have fog. That is why you have harassment, sexual harassment. It is sexual harassment is like a big topic even in corporate circles, because Lepus constellation is harass.
Mm. Mm-mm.
It is harass, and this is in the northeast direction. So as I was showing you in the Kal Chakra, for just those who might have skipped, see, Ishana, Ashtami, Amasya means new moon, Gemini is twin gate, animal is hare.
Mm.
So that is why we have Lepus, which is hare or harass. And that is what is sexual harassment, because this is talking about the lust.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
this is happening. So everything is linked, my dear friend Charles. Everything is linked to the samsara wheel. That is why in the Q map, everything, if you see the Q map again, escape samsara, why it
Yeah.
is on the top? It's because it is samsara wheel. And how many people know samsara wheel in the world?
No. Even the yogis I've talked to do not understand. They talk about these things, but they don't understand what they're saying.
Let me tell you, if you want to
And and
learn
uh,
samsara,
and just
if
hold on.
you
What?
have to really go to Tibet, you have to really go to Tibet and learn. Otherwise, in the whole world right now, I don't want to say it with ego or pride, but right now I'm the only guy who can actually decode samsara wheel apart from the Tibetan monks.
And the Tibetan monks cannot put it into the Western standards as you've done.
Yes.
You're the only one that can. You're the only one that can communicate this. And let me say, if you look up the Q on Wikipedia, the first thing it says is this is a right wing conspiracy. The Q is a right wing conspiracy.
That-
And let me tell you something. The right wing in America is consistent with 100% Christians and a few Jews. Okay. Uh, Ain't no right winger going to talk about samsara. Okay? There's nobody in Washington, D.C., especially in the Pentagon, that's going to talk about escaping the samsara wheel and make it the top of the queue and integrate it with the queue. That's not right wing. That's not Republican. There's a few probably hippie liberal Democrats that can talk about this freely. But let me tell you, if you're thinking it's right wing conspiracy, the right would never produce anything like this at all. And I said it last night. It would be Jesus everywhere. This would be Jesus, 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 Jesus. It's not. The top of this thing is logical. It's clear, and it's so ancient that few people can understand it, much less write it down in any way that is credible and makes sense. And Partha has just described it so perfectly that he gives it the credibility that the Great Awakening map is screaming for. He's the only one that can explain why the solar flash is so relevant, what it means, and how it ties into the wheel and the electric sun. All of that stuff at the Great Awakening that the Breadcrumbs Project understands, the Breadcrumbs Project is going to communicate. And we can't do it alone. We need an Indian master to unlock these these doors for us and unlock this knowledge that is written into the Q map. All right. This is not, and if you go into the Q map, it says there are no coincidences. There are no coincidences. Um, and Partha and I felt a synchronicity from the first moment we talked, and we've developed a great affection for each other. He's in India. I'm in Spain. I'm Basque. He's Indian. He's very calm and happy, and I'm hot-headed. You know, but something has joined us spiritually, and we're very comfortable in that spiritual realm. All right, Partha. I know
yes.
you're going
So
somewhere.
yeah, Yes. So let me share something which I have decoded last year, and this is there in my channel. For those who are interested, they can come to this English alphabet letters astrology. So matrix code, I have decoded this. It has only 645 views, only 645. So that means 645 lucky souls have seen this.
Amen.
The Q is the 17th letter. It is small lightning. Okay. So Q is the beginning of enlightenment because it is small lightning. Okay. And Q, 17th letter, and Q is also called as the crown of Magi. So those people who know about the star of Magi or the crown of Magi or the Cairo numerology, as per Cairo numerology or Kiro numerology, the number 17 relates to, the crown of Magi. Okay, and Q is the 17th letter in English alphabet. It is small lightning. It is the beginning of your ascension process.
It's the beginning of the Great Awakening.
Yes.
Wow.
It is the ascension process.
And you
So
got
I have done. I'm showing it right now on the screen. Please go watch it. At least you will start understanding few things. So 17 crown of Magi is not something which I said. It is the great Cairo. Cairo is a great palmist astrologer from the West. He's not an Indian. He talked about the crown of Magi. Okay, and that is related to the number 17, and number 17 is Q.
Now, let me ask this: Is Maggie the same thing as Magi, the three Magi that visited?
Yes, it's the same. Yes.
And okay, so to link this to the Westerners, when Christ was born, he had the three kings come, the three Magi, as Partha pronounces it. The Magi or the Magi are Zoroastrian priests, and so this all links the Zoroastrian tradition, where I've really started a lot of this discussion. What is Zoroastrianism? It's the oldest, what we'd consider Western religion in period. So the birth of the Christ, who was Jewish in lineage, was acknowledged by the ancient Zoroastrians, and their story of how they got to Christ is a tale wrought with danger. So that part of the New Testament, when they talk about that, they're linking Jesus to the ancient Zoroastrians. They knew by the star of Bethlehem that the Christ was going to be born, and they were following that star. They weren't following a star; they were following astrology. They're doing exactly what Partha said or says. They study the stars. The stars and comets send messages to those who follow it, and they're like, okay, I don't know what this means, but we're bringing gifts to this place in Jerusalem. They didn't know. They didn't know exactly what they were going for. They just had to follow the astrology and the astrotheology, which is what Partha is teaching us. All right, Partha, you've brought up the Star of Bethlehem. Thank you. And you may be on mute. I don't hear you.
Yes, Charles. So for those who keep saying that, I have to follow Jesus, I have to believe Jesus, let me share. I believe in Jesus more than people believe in Jesus.
You've made that point. Partha, we've been going at it an hour straight. Do you want to take a 5 or 10 minute break to get something to drink, stretch your legs?
Yes, I will do that. Just 2 minutes, Charles.
Okay.
I'll just finish this and
Please.
I'll come back with my water. So the Star of Bethlehem, as Charles is saying, is wise men of the East or Magi. And let me tell you just one thing, is that whatever we say, whatever words we utter, everything is a mantra. It's not that only when you say Shiva or Rama or some Tibetan chant, you are doing mantra. Even the words you speak are mantra. So if I say you scoundrel, you this, you that, that's also a mantra. It's creating negative energy. That's why we say purification of speech. So I will show that again. I mean, the mandala of speech, prana, energy, I was saying that. So that is why Buddha stressed on right speech, right actions, right words, because of that.
That's Zoroastrianism.
Come back to that.
That's the 3 points of Zoroastrianism.
So in that context, I would want to show that there is a noodles. It's called the Maggi noodles. Billions of people consume it in India every day. Even I had this. So when you're saying I'm having Maggi, I'm having Maggi, I'm having Maggi, what am I doing? I'm calling this.
Wow.
From the east.
Okay.
So that's called real mind programming.
Yeah. Honestly, it is. Okay. We're going. Partha and I are going to take a break.
Yes.
I want to pick up here at the Star of Bethlehem because this is what most of us in the chat room are familiar with. And hey, Andrew. Good morning. This is what most of us are familiar with, and this is a great place for us to build that link, because Jesus was not just a Christian phenomenon. He wasn't just a Jewish phenomenon. There was the Zoroastrian phenomenon, which is defined right here. And Partha, what I'm going to do is let's go ahead and break down. Let's stop this Zoom meeting so that this very important documentary can go ahead and build itself and create its own video under the Zoom format, and then we'll start a part 2 Zoom meeting. I know it's complicated, but this is the best way to create the content that people need to view, because this is an hour and a half long video.
Yes, John. So we can stop this here and we can do a part 2.
Okay. All right, guys. Partha and I, you get to watch us in the background. We're techie nerds. And so we're going to stop this Zoom meeting. Then we're going to take a break, and then create a part 2. And this is for all the people in the queue that are coming for answers. We've got the answers. They're complicated. They're not easy. And you're going to have to do a lot of work. And a lot of people that are in the queue are going to be coming at it from a Christian theology, and they're going to have to readdress that if they're going to continue to follow the queue. Because again, the queue is not a right-wing phenomenon at all. Zero. I know right-wing. I am from the South in the United States, and I've been in politics my entire life. I know right-wing. Right-wing would never produce anything like this. A military psyops would never, ever produce anything like this. Everything that Partha has presented would not be part of a military psyops from the Pentagon, because you're wrought with trouble if you're pulling in such ancient technologies. Because if you're doing a psychological operation, you're trying to control the thought of the object of your operation, and also your own people. So you're not going to pull in all these different concepts and then apply them so perfectly and never talk about Jesus in any of it. So it's not military. It's not Western. It's not a right-wing conspiracy. It's global. It's ancient. It's filled with ancient codes that can be deciphered by those with the knowledge. And that's part of what the Q is all about. They say it again and again. You take this piece and you unpack it, and you do your own research, and then you present it to others. This is the fundamental point of the Q. And I can do that part of the presentation maybe later today. But the Q isn't like, oh, you have to believe us. No, you take what you've learned, you do your own research, and then you do with it what you will. You can join us, or you can say this is nonsense. I've already said the Q is nonsense a long time ago, and again and again and again. And now I've come into the Q from a whole different angle, and I'm like, holy cabonies. And then Partha has just boom, blown open the whole top of the Q, a Great Awakening, in a form that no other human being can. So
So I was the comet, Charles. The comet is not in the sky. I was the comet.
yes,
That to understand.
yes, yes. You were the great call. I went searching. I went looking in the right places, but the place that I went looking was a place that you were, Partha. So as I was going through the woods, and I'm like, can anybody help me? What is this? What am I seeing? Because I was getting lies from the establishment, and I went into the woods and called to you, and you were answering the call. And it's so funny because we were doing it through chat. You know, you were sending chats, blam, 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 and trying to get my attention. And
As I said earlier, I must thank Angel and Deva. It's Angel who actually connected you and me, and then it's Deva. So because of their efforts, we could connect. And now I'm happy that at least, see, let me tell you one thing, that behind the smoke screen, behind the mirrors, there is a great truth. And what usually happens is, even in ancient India, if you want to tell truth, what they used to do was they used to encrypt it.
there,
So this is a modern form of encryption, Charles. This Q map is a modern form of encryption. Only the real truth seekers will understand it. Those people who are not meant for it, they will never come to it.
and,
It is an encryption map.
and
So
Partha,
yes.
what do you need to break an encryption? And when you read an encrypted message, what do you need? You need a key, don't you? You need a key. If you don't have the key, what you're looking at is complete and utter gobbledygook. Um, and and we've talked about in this channel frequently. There's no such thing as William Shakespeare. Shakespeare was a group of people, and they communicated with each other through code. That code is clearly visible, not in the way you open a modern book that's reprinted Shakespeare. The code isn't in there. You have to go to the original the great folio of Shakespeare, and the way all those letters are, the way all the letters are placed, what's capitalized, what's not capitalized, what's under each other, the code is plainly visible. And there's hours and hours of people that have cracked the code and can go back in history and say, well, here it is. Uh, uh, but yes, incredibly intelligent people didn't have the internet. They couldn't mail letters without somebody reading it. And the Rosicrucians, the Masons, the ancient Hindu, all of these people had to communicate, and they did it through code. But you can't understand a code if you don't have the key. You can be as smart in the world as you want to, but if you don't have that key, then that encrypted message will never make sense to you. It may take you years to actually crack the code, but then you've lost the point of the message. So Partha is the key to the Great Awakening map for anybody who's truly following the Q. All right, Partha. Comet. Yeah. Oh, that's
So we
amazing.
can, yes, we can reconnect after some time. So you tell me what time can we reconnect?
All right, let's take a 10-minute break. It is
10-minute break. Okay.
It is yeah, 10-minute break, and we'll reconvene. Partha, you can just use the same code and password. This is established, okay? So this is now a private room for me in Zoom. So you and Angel can keep reusing this whenever we come into a meeting.
Okay, fine.
All right.
Fine.
All right, guys. If you think any questions, we'll start the meeting answering any questions, and then we'll go into the presentation. I've asked Partha to start on the place where most Westerners are familiar with, and that's the birth of Jesus, to give us the astrology behind it and the importance to all of the ancient religious traditions that came and acknowledged this person. All right, guys. Partha, I'll break down the call now and take a good 10-minute break, my friend. Love you, and so much appreciation for what you bring to the world, not just to us.
Thank you, Charles. Thanks a lot.
Talk to you soon. Bye. All right, guys. So let's see. Come on, software, catch up. All right, so this is what we're doing. This is what we're talking about. Partha has just made all of the stuff behind me in this picture make sense. All right. So all of this, Partha has just unpacked beautifully. And it's not accidental. It's just his training. All right, guys, I'm going to take a break. So you know what that means. It is, yep, cha-cha-cha time and a little bit of music. My computer's being so good. This is really what we are. And we have meaning. We're at the end of the map. We are significant. We are the breadcrumbs. And we do this together. Can't do it without any of y'all. All right, be back in 10 minutes, guys. Good thoughts, good deeds, good words, positive energy. It's not a hippie thing. It's a real deal. Hi, everyone. It's the breadcrumb here, General Breadcrumbs. I'm coming in a little bit early because I've just seen a bunch of new people in the stream, and I really wanted to welcome everybody that's here. And the really difficult thing about this is everybody that is brand new to this. It's confusing. I get it. I feel it. Um, what you do have here, everybody that is a moderator, everybody that has a wrench by their name, a blue wrench, um, has been here since the beginning of when this started to unfold a month and a half ago. Um, they were curious and they saw the mistakes I made, but they saw the mistakes that I made were done in honesty. Um, and I didn't stick to a course of investigation. I treated this like an investigation. I followed the breadcrumbs, and if certain breadcrumbs lead me astray, well, I got to go back from where I came from, and then I pick up the real trail again. And that's what we've done here to put things in a so simplistic way. Um, that I'm just trying to say, if you do have questions, the mods here are people that can speak to you. Um, maybe get an email address, give them an email address, take the conversation offline. I'm putting a little pressure on the mods that maybe I should not. And this has just been this talk about organic. Talk about organic. This has been all organic. Uh, None of the mods asked to be mods except for I think Doreen. Doreen was one of the first mods after Epic. Um, and Epic didn't even ask to be made a mod. I just needed some help moderating the chat room, and he was active. He's very intelligent. He got what I was saying and how I was saying it. So uh, I'm beyond thrilled. All right, Partha is in the room. Hi, Partha. I will bring you up in a second. But I just want to catch everybody in. John Martin, hello, welcome. Maria Magdalena, welcome, welcome. Ali S, JLT, hey, it's good to see you again. Mike Gifford, hello. Hey, Troy, welcome back. It's mind blowing. I know where you're coming from because Troy and I have exchanged emails, and he's coming from a strong academic background. So a lot of what he's hearing right now, and he is an active reader of the Q, and he has come here through the Q, just being curious, and he's sticking around, and his mind is being blown. Uh, to all the mods, thank you for all you do.